Fellow citizens of the world, it's time to stand up for the oppressed. It's time. Arise.
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 Arise and shine.
For my people.
For Ambazonia.
For the displaced people.
For the raped girls.
For the widows.
For the orphans.
For love's sake.
Arise and stop the war now.
A 21st century genocide in the former British Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. That is the story of Ambazonia.
When we talk of African diaspora, we are referring to all Black people scattered around the globe in various communities, most of them in the United States of America. We share the same DNA, the same stories, the same challenges and anxieties.
For men and women of color, the statistics of mass killings in our U.S. communities are alarming. The violence of Black on Black is higher than white or police on Blacks.
And so, when we see conditions of mass killings and unwarranted violence, it does not sit with us.
Our guns, turned at each order, are cutting our destinies short and bringing untold misery to our families and friends.
When we, the people, as millions of united, passionate, loving people, blend our voices together as one voice to send a booming message to leaders throughout the world that we will accept no more killings, brutality, or tyranny. As one people, we will end mass killings.
The question is, can politicians and celebrities do something to end mass killings?
Have you ever been in a place where 2-month-old babies are killed with live ammunition? Where babies are fried in hot boiling oil? Where drinkable water requires kilometer walk? Where a meal a day is an illusion? Where toys for children is but a luxury? Where humanity has been reduced to underdog? These are the realities of my homeland.
Picture this: a woman walking down the street, nursing her infant as she goes. Suddenly, an armed soldier comes across her path, rips the baby from her breast,
throws the infant in boiling oil, drags the woman in the bushes, rapes her, and pushes her body over a ravine into rushing water, and she drowns.
Can you see it? A horror movie? No. These are actual atrocities taking place under the guise of war. Worse than Rwanda. And news agencies aren't reporting it.
On October 1st, 1961, the former British Southern Cameroon was recolonized by France through its proxy, La République du Cameroun, which remains a colony of France to date. After decades of marginalization and a failed assimilation, culminating with the strikes actions by teachers and lawyers, in 2016, President Biya of La République du Cameroun waged war on the people of the former British Southern Cameroons, also known as Ambazonia, on November 30th, 2017.
The horrors of brutality are steadily increasing because good people are silent. And when we speak, we are fragmented in our messages because we don't speak out as one voice. Screaming individually makes us sound like victims. But when we scream out as a movement of 1 billion united voices, we sound like conquerors.
Politics cuts across race.
gender, age, party affiliation, education, and wealth. It takes goodwill for politicians to create policies that work. Policies that are targeted genuinely to solve problems.
Recently, we lost the longest ruling monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. She's being revered for her personal achievements for Great Britain. In Africa, she's being remembered for some very dark period of Britain's relationship with colonial rule, her failure or negligence to right those wrongs.
As the world mourns Queen Elizabeth II today, perhaps for her good works, our nation, Amazonia, mourns her unfinished business, the botched decolonization of our territory. That is the root cause of the genocidal onslaught today.
The desire to make the world one human family, living collaboratively in love and peace with one another and the environment, is the will of God for mankind, as well as the desire of the people, especially the oppressed.
Is it not globalization that is preached to us every day? Was it not globalization that spoke out for Ukraine? Why is it that the same globalization is not at work to save the lives of Amazonia?
We cannot underestimate the power of our connections. Our history as Black people is intricately linked. We have been subjected to violence, mass killings, and dehumanization due to racism and Black-on-Black violence.
Today, 5 years later,
Southern Cameroon is a sovereign nation that has been experiencing genocide,
a Rwandan-like genocide,
carried out by La République du Cameroon,
with over 500 villages burnt through their scorched earth policy, over 45,000 people killed, over 5,000 prisoners of war, over 1.5 million internally displaced people, and over 1 million refugees, and over 800,000 school-age students not going to school.
If you take a closer look, it is France supporting and sustaining these wicked acts because of the natural resources of Amazonia.
In the 15th century, the forced migration occurred through the transatlantic slave trade that lasted for 400 years plus. During that time, mass killings occurred, yet we survived as a people. Colonization and neocolonialism saw mass killings of our people and many others around the world. In fact, before the killings in Ukraine, there were killings in Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, genocide in Rwanda, and now mass killings and genocide in Amazonia, Southern Cameroons.
The movement, 10 Voices for the Voiceless, set out to unite voices that will inspire governments to send fact-finding missions to the ground and crime scene.
Thanks to DNA testing, many of you, African Americans, celebrities, actors, and entertainers have traced your roots to Amazonia and West Africa. You can and should use your celebrity status for the common and greater good.
To resound the already wailing echoes of the peoples of the former British Southern Cameroons.
As children of God, we have to build a spiritual army comprised of good people who care for humanity, people who will support us to end mass killings and genocides around the world.
Join the movement, which sets out to release details of the oppressed from tyrannic, dictatorial, and murderous government of French Cameroon.
You, Mr. and Miss Senator, and governors can whisper a loud message to President Biden to go after the truth. We will cover you with our prayers.
The steady rise in humanitarian crises like wars, genocide, mass killings, human trafficking calls for a properly calculated humanitarian response to save the world from destruction by forces of evil.
If we cannot fight at this time for all color peoples scattered all over the globe, how then are we expecting the others?
The actual lives lost to these mass murders, does it bother you? Does it bother your humanity to hear this as much as it did about Ukraine? Then you, senators and governors, can help turn our whispers into a roar.
In conclusion, rise up, men and women of God's creation.
Please join in the movement to end this unwarranted violence and mass killings.
Be an advocate for the movement of change for peace and justice.
Dear governors, esteemed senators, you can end mass killings today by telling the President of the United States that this project is important.
We need you, governors and senators. Save these innocent lives.
Sir and madam, you will be celebrated for it.
Tell the perpetrators of brutality that you have taken your position on the front lines and that atrocities will no longer occur. Not on your watch.
Mr. President, what legacy do you want to leave for Ambazonia?
The White House represents the true principle of democracy, freedom, and self-determination, everything Ambazonia needs.
President Biden, you can do it. Do the right thing. Stop the genocide.
The time is now to close the inequality gap within and amongst countries. If we work collaboratively as one human family, we can change our world into one of peace.
Remember the words of Edmund Burke: the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing.
Arise.
This is a movement, a call to action.
Join the movement.
Join the movement.
Thank you.
It is people focused.
Visit and sign the petition on change.org. Stop mass killings in Ambazonia and the world. Together, we can stop mass killings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
10 voices for the voiceless.